Well, I'm just going to wait here until people start to show up, and then we'll edit this out after. So hold on a minute. I'll hang in here. Here we are. Welcome to a new live stream. Hey, everybody. Excellent. I'm going to get this going a little bit here. There's a little sound effect in the background. Can I go back to this? Thanks for being patient. I'll use that in a second. Thanks for being patient. We'll hang in here for a minute, and we'll see if people come over. Good. I don't know what happened. The whole thing was system go, and then suddenly it was not. Oh, what's that sound I hear? It's a babbling brook. Can you hear the babbling brook this morning? I hope you can. I'm going to give the bell a beginning. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for having your patience, and thanks for being tolerant of me. I believe that you can hear me. Yes, you're back. Turn my lights on. My lights are on. Are they not? Can you not see me? Or are you being funny? I think you're being funny, David. You funny guy. Yes, you are. I think you're being funny. All right, my friends. Here, listen. Can you hear that? Can you hear the stream this morning? So here we begin. And thanks for liking the video. It's pretty dark, huh? It's pretty dark. I'm dark? Well, that's weird. Is that better? It's quiet, but I can hear the stream. Can you hear me? You think it's okay? All right. And that lighting is better. So here we go. Woo-hoo! All right. Thanks, everybody. You're super helpful. Everybody's so helpful. Thank you very much. So we begin. I probably need those today. And I'm going to actually have to put this on too, because there's a little bit too much light coming in now. Great, everybody. You can hear. Can you hear the stream? Yes. So here we begin. Let's take a moment. Peace be with you. I'm Peter Panagore, MDiv, and welcome to Not Church. No doctrine, no dogma, just mysticism in scriptures through the lens of near-death experience. Today, something more like a meditation homily. So, let's begin by listening to this brook. There it is, the brook. So adjust your volume. Is that good? And can you hear me above the brook? So yes, okay. Shh. Quiet yourself. Close your eyes. Listen a moment. Let your breath settle. 3 breaths. Three sayings of Jesus from the Gospels of Thomas and John today. I'm not your teacher. You have drunk the intoxicating and bubbling spring that I tended. The teacher says, I'm not your teacher. Your teacher is the intoxicating stream itself. Your teacher is the intoxicating stream I tend, he said in Thomas. Drink here. Drink now. The water will teach you everything you need to know and show you what's hidden. Eternally bubbling stream. Be my teacher. Intoxicating, mind-altering, consciousness-shifting stream within is your teacher. Jesus tended his stream, lifting the sticks and branches from it, raking out the litter and the leaves, freeing his stream from what it confined, from what confined it. The detritus of the mind and the world that dams the brook, stick by stick, he cleaned. He tended. He tended, and then he offered it to anyone who would drink from it. Drink from it. Satisfying water in a parched life. Drink from it. Let it rise inside you. Tend your stream with all your heart, mind, and soul, becoming eternally intoxicated by the mind-altering, consciousness-shifting, bubbling stream of life. He tended his stream. Why shouldn't we? Your teacher is the intoxicating stream. Those who drink the water will never be thirsty again. Drink it and feel it, and it becomes a fresh, bubbling spring within you, giving you eternal life. Drink it and it bubbles within you. Do you want to be thirsty again? I don't. Living water poured out from Jesus, that's why people listened to him. People drank from him. It's why they gathered around him. They tasted the flow he offered and found it bubbling up inside themselves. Believing in water doesn't slack your thirst. Drinking the water satiates. Jesus was a fountain of intoxicating water. An eternal spring bubbling up in him can become the eternal spring bubbling up in you. It bubbles up in us. It bubbles up in every mystic who has ever had an intoxicating drink. Tend your stream. Pick out the clutter by listening to the bubbling babble. Your stream and my stream pool inside us and water the space between us. Flowing from within us and out into the world around us. It's not your stream. It's not my stream. A person who drinks from my mouth will become like me, he said. I myself shall become that person, and the things that are hidden will be revealed to that person. Drink from the stream. Be like Jesus. Let the water become you. your eternally, internally intoxicating stream within. Be your stream, here and now. Listen with the ear of your heart. It gushes inside you. Let's listen. Notice it has no words. Feel the eternal inside you. My friends, Jesus himself told us himself. Jesus himself told us himself that he himself was not the stream. What the heck? There it is. Trouble today. There we go. Jesus himself told us that he himself was not the stream. He told us that his camera is no longer staying up like it's supposed to. Try it that way. He didn't say that part. I did. There we go. So even when that kind of stuff happens, even when your video feed fails to work and stream in the morning when you worked all day on it, even when you turn your camera around and the camera itself starts to slip on its ball, even when you have your lights on and no one can see you, even then, when you tap into the bubbling stream that flows inside you, even then, mostly then, it sustains us. It sustains you. It brings you into the eternal itself. I juxtaposed John and Thomas this morning. It was in John where he said, the babbling stream is within you. Taste of the water of life, and it is within you. It arises inside you and bubbles inside you in John. And in Thomas, he emphasized that which is in him can be in you. That was not a promise that was without backing. When he spoke those words, people heard those words with the heart because they felt, they tasted the water within. This thing that he offered, that he offers, is not in the past. It's not in a dusty book. It's right here, right now, among us, between us, and within us. And he was always talking about it. He was, thank you, David, and thank you, capital 1, 2. He was always talking about it. This flow is the living water. I was reading in another gospel today where he shows up at the festival. And the people say, he teaches with such authority. How can an unlearned person speak with such knowledge? And Jesus never went to school. What he did do was he tended the stream inside his heart. And in tending the stream inside his heart, he opened himself to the babbling brook within him. And then he shared that water with anyone who wanted to drink it by coming into his presence, by listening to his voice. It wasn't his words. There are no words in the babbling brook. Listen, there are no words. There's just beauty and flow and that thing that speaks directly to your heart. And he shared it with them, and then they found it inside themselves, within themselves, among themselves. They shared it between, because he didn't keep it to himself. He couldn't keep it to himself. He didn't want to keep it to himself. That's the nature of the eternal, intoxicating, mind-altering, consciousness shifting, divine living water presence. This thing isn't about believing. This thing is about experiencing the living water itself. And together, we become a pool of water, a lake of water, an ocean of water. Together, our babbling streams become a brook. They become rivers. They flow from us together. And that's where the connection is. It's inside the artesian well of your own heart. And that's where you tend. That's where you pick up the clutter. That's where you work to keep the stream opening free. Of what? Of yourself. That's the only thing that gets in the way. The sticks of my mind. The sticks of myself, the detritus of my being. The things of the world. They're not bad. Sticks are good. Leaves are wonderful. But they cover the opening. So we work and we tend the stream. We tend it. There's a stream next to my house. I have to tend the stream. If I don't tend the stream, come winter time, sometimes when there's a rain that's heavy and the ice is thick, it floods. But if I am careful and I tend it in the autumns and I pull out the leaves, then it flows free through the culvert. And the water is clear and it babbles like the sound we hear. Unclog your culvert and let the water flow free. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. And again, thank you all for enduring my troubles this morning with YouTube, which I have no idea why there was trouble, but there was. I'm going to say hi to all sorts of folks. I did already, so a bunch of people on the other stream. Let's see if there's any conversation here or anything we need to talk about this morning. A bit more brook, please. There we go. How's that? I know it's a little late there, Russell. I'm thinking of churches that are water bottlers, says Wanda. Yeah, you can't bottle this water. I mean, you can bottle it, but it goes stale. And Jesus was handing out cups of it, fresh cups of it to anyone who would drink. Thanks, Vicky. Powerful and worth the wait. Like Moses stuck in the rock. When he struck the rock on the desert, the water flows out like that. Right from the ground. For those of you who don't know the story, Moses lost in the desert. They're all thirsty because there's no water because they're in the desert. He takes his big staff, and whacks it on a rock, and the rock opens up, and the life-giving water flows out like that. Mythology, symbol, metaphor right there. Thanks, Olga. Bubbling right up. Reminds me of the old hymn, The Spring of the Living Water. I'd sing it for you if I knew it, but I don't. But I remember it. And you might not want to hear me singing it anyway. Intoxicating bubbles. You can't say it without smiling, says Ali. You also speak with such authority when you speak directly to us, says Mary. Well, Mary, it's not me any more than it was Jesus. He said so himself. You will do greater things than me. I'm not doing greater things than him. No kidding about that. But anyone who taps into the water itself can express it themselves to others. And it's not the words, it's the water itself. The tending of the stream frees and opens the culvert to allow the water to come through. And it's not mine. It's right inside you. It's right inside every person if they only look for it. It's right there. And then you never get thirsty again. Never again. Shouting out to your mom. Oh, Allie, your mom's here. Hey, Mom. I had a neighbor who arranged the rocks in the stream so it would make different sounds. I had a stream and I loved tending it. I missed it. Yeah, you can make streams say different sounds. This is not my stream, by the way. This is a stream not far away. Every stream sounds like this, doesn't it? Every babbling brook of rocks, stickless. Even with sticks, sometimes they sound like this. I'm the one that clogged the stream between me and the divine, says Charles. Yeah, the only one between God and me is me. I'm the clogger. I'm the stick. And the sticks aren't bad. I'm not against sticks. I'm not holding a protest against sticks clogging streams. I'm merely pulling out my sticks. And maybe I'll use my sticks to build a hut or a raft. But the sticks don't belong in the stream if I want to drink the water, if I want the water to flow with ease. I tend my stream. Your video camera went sideways. It sure did. I had audio issues. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I have a hex nut that I need to tighten in my camera mount. Maintenance, world things. Let's see. Great chat this morning, Peter. Love the living water. Amen. It goes stale when it's bottled. That's right. Thanks, Colleen. Poor Moses. They were always complaining and never happy. Yeah, well, they were pretty upset at Moses. The poor guy. He did a lot for them. And as the stories go, Peter, is there a special focus within prayer or meditation that helps maintain the brook or find the source of the spring water? Rob, yes, there is. It's always the same thing. It's not that you're out there trying to cup the water. How do I say this? It always has to do with the same thing I've always talked about. It's always about removing the sticks again and again and again. And even when you don't think that it's working, you keep going back, removing the sticks. And what are the sticks? You don't try to, I'm going to stop stretching the metaphor here and just say it directly. It's really about using your mind against your mind. It's really about constantly, forever pulling the sticks out of the way of the stream again and again. And if you've ever tended a stream, you know that leaves keep falling into your stream and sticks and branches keep falling into your streams. And year to year, you have to tend your stream. And it feels like Sisyphus because you never get the job completely done. As once you unblock it, a branch falls down. So you got to pull that branch out. Rob, it's always breath and mind work in a practice, an easy practice of prayer, of orienting your heart to the will of the divine. And it may not pay off tomorrow. You may not see that the sticks you pulled out today make any difference. But if you look closely, you'll see that in that spot, the water flows freely. It's always that same thing, Rob. And I wish it were somehow different. But it's always the picking up the sticks from the mind that block the stream. I wish it were different, but it's not. Let's see what else. Poor Moses. And thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Charles, and thank you, Catherine. Thank you all. I super appreciate your support, especially on a day like this when there was trouble in the beginning. I super appreciate your being here and your tolerance and all the rest of it. You guys are great, and I hope my task, as I've told you before, the way that I see my job is to try to be a spring of water for you, my little spring of water that flows into me so that you can find the flow inside yourself, so that you can focus on the bubbling artesian well that's just below your surface and dig there, and find it inside yourself. This thing is inside. What did Plotinus say? Something like, everybody's got this capacity, but so few people use it. You know it's there because it's already touched you in your life. You just need to keep digging in that spot. Keep tending your stream. Keep tending your stream. And the eternal nature of the stream becomes present now. It's not just pie in the sky when you die. It's pie now. It's not the whole pie now. It's just a thin slice of pie now, but it's still delicious, buttery, blueberry pie now. A little tiny piece. And I'm totally mixing my metaphors. It's a little tiny taste of the eternal water now. The best moment of your spiritual life, when you had that mystical presence of the divine inside you, it's that times a gazillion billion. It's so much more. And every drop you put inside your bucket is yours to keep. Every stick you remove, and you let that water flow. And what happens when you eventually get the culvert unstuck, even though you have to keep working the stream to make sure it stays unstuck? The water flows on its own. It flows on its own. And you don't make the flow. You don't make the water. You don't bring it to your property. You simply keep the stream clean. That's all you have to do. And it is life-giving, eternal and present and now. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. So awesome. Thank you, Jesus. Thanks to Jesus, that great teacher who said, I'm not your teacher. The teacher who said, I'm not your teacher. The living water is your teacher. That's who your teacher is. I can feel the stream for a second or two when my mind jumps back and then it's gone. I wish I could maintain it. That's the nature of the mind, and the nature of mystical experience is it has a beginning and an end. You can't always sustain it, but the more you experience those moments of it, the deeper the stream goes, and it sustains itself. So keep picking the sticks, keep playing pickup sticks, keep raking out the leaves, and those moments of its presence of eternal drunkenness inside you, that intoxication of selflessness, becomes more and more. It's never the fullness of heaven, and it's not always present on a conscious level. But way underneath, that stream doesn't stop flowing. And the more you clean it out, the more you get to experience it. There are those peak experiences where you are fully immersed in it, and then there's the daily experience of the flow inside you that is constant and steady, that flows on its own through the open culvert of your soul. So those little tiny things, the moments that you have, they have beginnings and ends, but they deepen the flow within. It's a paradox. It's this paradox that the cleaner your stream becomes, the more you get to experience it on this quiet level. It's not always, the volume's not always way up. Sometimes the volume's way down. And then you have to listen harder. But every moment that you hear it, is a moment in your bucket, a moment of opening that feeds your soul, gives you the drink that you desire so that you always want to drink from this well, always want to drink from this stream. Does that make sense? I hope. One small sip of the water and no thing has been able to replace what has been given, and an eternal thirst for more is created, says Karen Elise. That's what happens. You get one taste of this stuff, you get drunk a little bit on it, you get a little high on this intoxicating water, and that's all you want. And you never thirst for anything else ever again. I love observing and reflecting the perfection of God's universe through nature. Yeah, it's the best. Butter is a good metaphor, right, Mom? Butter. Thanks, Peter. The metaphor is powerful and teaching comes through. Creator once again provides the answers around us always. Listen and look. Pay attention. God's always talking to us. Creator is always talking to us. The Adonai is always talking to us. The divine love is always present to us. The living water is always inside us, within us. And when we gather together like this, we swim together in the eternal water. We swim together in the eternal water. We bind ourselves to each other, not through the body, but through the presence of the Spirit itself, through the divine presence that binds us. Mary, perfect, the immersion, and then the constant flow on a quiet level. The ultimate gateway drug, says Vicky. Yeah. You're welcome, Kelly. Yes, that helps me, gives me encouragement. I must say, I feel the stream the most flowing from you. I feel the light through you. Thank you. It's any of the light that you feel flow through me, like the stream, it's not mine. You feel it because it's already inside you. The stream itself is the thing itself. The eternal, babbling, intoxicating, artesian well of God is the source of all, and that's all you need. That's all we need. So taste it and pursue it. Taste it and love it. Taste it and be satisfied from it. Drink of it. And you'll find strength in life, in this world of suffering and beauty, and it will carry you through into the next, better afterlife. This is the immersion. This is the immersion inside the divine, in the ocean of love. Let's see what else is being said over here. Thank you, Peter. Yes, that helps give me encouragement. I already read that one. Since you were originally a Protestant Christian after your near-death experience, how do you view other religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam? I grew up in the typical Protestant church. Well, I was not Protestant before my NDE. I was raised Greek Orthodox and Roman Catholic. But it still applies. There's no difference. I came back without belief in any of them. I came back without belief in God. I came back without belief in the Bible. I came back knowing that God is real, knowing that heaven is real, knowing that the light itself is real, knowing that the divine presence pervades all things and is in all people, all the time, everywhere, and that this eternal artesian well of divine upwelling, bubbling, upstreaming is inside every single person just below the surface, waiting to bubble to the top. And all it takes is a taste of it, no matter who you are or where you are or what religion you are, to find this inside yourself. And it is unspeakable. Listen, there are no words in this. There are no words in God. God is inconceivably beyond words. The ocean of the divine, the water of the divine, is so far beyond conception that it can only be experienced here. So, to answer your question, what do I think of Hindus and Buddhists and Islam and Muslims and Jains and Zoroastrians and shamans? God loves every single one of them. And inside all of them, and inside all of the sentient beings of all of our galaxy, of all of the universe, who never heard of Hinduism, who never heard of Jesus, who never heard of Buddha, God is inside every single one. Every single one. And the religions of the world, they can help us open our hearts. And for me and my world, Jesus is my main teacher. He's the one of my culture. He's the one who I am the student of mostly. He's the one whose story we all share. And he's the one who was always pointing to the ineffable and saying, it's not me. It's not me. It's the eternal stream itself inside you, bubbling up from within. That is already there for you. For everyone, everywhere, all the time. Source is the source is the source is the source, says something like that from Wendy. But your gift is transmitting this living water. Well, sorry, I had to do something down there. Turn on get my blanket. A little chilly in here now. Yeah, I think maybe that's true. I know that this is inside of me. That I don't pretend that I'm not trying to be fake about that. I know this is inside of me. My whole task of my whole life has been to try to communicate this directly so that you can find it inside yourself. Find it inside yourself, and you won't need me. You only need the eternal bubbling stream, intoxicating, consciousness shifting, mind altering, divine presence itself. And when we gather together, which is one of the great things about not church, when we gather together, we all bring our pools of water with us. We all bring our babbling brooks with us. We all bring our trickles and streams or raging rivers, and we speak this out to ourselves, between ourselves, with our own presence, and we bathe together. We bathe in this babbling brook. We bathe in this sound of the divine. We bathe in this divine presence. That's the thing itself. That's what we bring into the world. That's what we birth inside ourselves when we open ourselves up to that is within us. But thank you, Mary. Love is the only way, says Ali. By allowing the stream to flow, you live God's truth versus learning about it. It's true that he transforms, allowing his light to shine through you and illuminates the darkness. This is the truth. In this passage I read earlier today about Jesus is at this festival, they say, look at this guy. He's talking with authority and he is unlearned. How does he know this? It's not about knowledge. It's not about book learning. It's not about education. It's not about anything but the water itself. It's always ever been about the eternal, internal, ever-flowing, divine presence available to you here like a stream now. Drink of it and let it bubble up inside yourself. It is transformative and perspective shifting and mind altering and world changing. You change your world from the inside out. And when you tap into the eternal everlasting stream, you see the world differently. You see the things that were hidden before, like the existence of the stream itself, like the hearing of the babble itself. And then you begin to see it everywhere and hear it in everything. Little tiny whispery trickles and roaring rivers sometimes. whereas before you couldn't see or hear or taste. It tells about itself, and no book can teach you that. Only experience, only the divine grace itself. It's a difficult, frustrating, and beautiful system because it's egalitarian and ever available to every single human being, everywhere. Let's see. Paraphrasing Carl Jung's words. Paraphrasing Carl Jung's words. I don't believe I know God. I don't believe I know God. I know that I'm known by the knower. I know the knower knows me. When I know a person, I know only a bit about that person, even my best friends, even my spouse. I may know more about my spouse, but I don't fully know my spouse. No one can fully know anyone's mind, but the knower with a capital K can fully know you. And when you're known by the knower, you know it. You don't believe it. And there's a big difference. And some of those knowings they're always a partial knowing. It's never a full knowing. You can never no one ever fully knows. Because if you fully know, then you're not here anymore. You're union with the divine. That's the only full knowing there is. All the rest is less. Excellent question. What was the question? Let's see. Oh, yeah. What happens if we break the 10 Commandments? So there is no hell, or is this dimension as bad as it gets? Thanks for sharing your experience. And just to let you know, we've got about 11 minutes left. And you're all welcome to come to Mystic Tea Salon. You'll find that link at peterpanagore.love. I went through a hell of my own making. Not everybody who dies goes through hell, but I did. I created through my own karma of my giving away pain. I created my own chains that bound me, but the divine fire of purgative love cleansed me, freed me, forgave me, and welcomed me into the divine presence itself, into the oneness of being. I can't speak for everyone. Will everyone go to hell? I don't know. I did. I expect I may again. But I do know this, that everyone is utterly beloved and no one is ever lost. The eternal nature of love is that love itself is eternal, and every being made and created is made of eternal love. You see the circle there? It's like the rain goes up to the clouds, and the rain and the ocean, and the clouds and the rain and the ocean. Love is a circle that never ends. And you and I and everyone are beloved. If you break the 10 Commandments, if you repent in your death, I repented in my death. My experience, I repented in my death when I saw the suffering that I caused, and I felt and judged myself guilty, and the beloved loved me always and always knew me and forgave me for the sake of love. I still caused those people pain, and I still regretted it, and I was guilty of it, and they became my chains. But love itself freed me. Love itself freed me. As Jesus himself said, there's no unforgivable sin except for blasphemy against the Spirit itself, which is the denial of the Spirit itself when you are in the presence of the divine. And when you're in the presence of the divine, it was self-evident to me that I was in the presence of the divine, and there was no denying the presence of the Spirit. I could not blaspheme against the Spirit because the Spirit was all there is, was, and will be. And all I did was recognize it because it showed itself to me as it was. I didn't choose to recognize it. It showed recognition in me. Can't speak for anybody else. That's what happened to me. To me, religions are just a framework. All religions are blocking my way. But if people find religions helpful, then people do find religions helpful. And religions can be helpful to people. Heck, religion was helpful to me, even though I'm not a religious person. I studied religion in order to understand my divine experience, my death experience. Religion can be very helpful to people. It can keep them from murder. It can keep them from abuse. Religion can also cause suffering. So always aim your heart at the divine inside the religion, not ever at the religion. Always aim for the divine, no matter where you are. And use the tools in front of you. Use the tools in front of you. They can be helpful. It doesn't get much more idyllic than to sit beside the rushing stream in a spring, or the lazy stream on a summer day, while the bobolink sings in the meadow. It's every heavenly vision we cherish. Any time by water, as long as it's not like a tidal wave, any time by water is a beautiful thing. Thank you, Alfred. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you very much. Celtic blessing from Scotland. Very truly, Ali and David, I must have missed what you guys said. We all have our own built-in moral codes that God gives us. The morality ultimately arises in love. And so, for instance, the commandments say, thou shalt not kill, but would you kill to defend your child? Would you then be guilty of love of your child? Or would you be guilty of murder? Or would they be mixed together somehow? And you choose to defend your child in that circumstance, that extreme circumstance. Is love the dominant or sin the dominant? Or is it always this muddy water? And we lean towards love every chance we get, knowing that we're in muddy water. We know we're in muddy water, and we lean toward love. And out of the love, the morality arises. The morality is love and kindness, compassion. That's morality. Love, kindness, and compassion in action in the suffering world where nothing is ever clear, where everything is muddled most of the time. Morality in a mystic arises from the connection to the divine. What prevents me from seeing the bubbling, flowing stream next to me right now is holding on to a picture in my mind of how beautiful the stream looked yesterday. Well said, Jim. That's right. Oh, that stream was beautiful yesterday. La 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 la, I can't hear the one that's right next to me now. Wow, hell of my own making, says Dragonfish. Yeah, I made my own hell. Probably have done so again. I expect to go back through again, but I expect and understand and was promised. I was promised being in the presence of the divine again. And every moment of my life since my return the first time, I'm aware of the suffering I give. I wasn't before. I don't like to give it now. I know that like a human being, like everyone does, we hurt other people. And I trust in the divine's promise to me of love and forgiveness. It doesn't cause me to go out and cause pain on purpose. It causes me to go out and minimalize pain on purpose, to the best of my human ability and my real world living, where I sometimes make wrong choices about that. That's the muddy water of life. couple minutes left here, literally 2 minutes. So let's take a moment. I thank you, everyone, this morning for all of your gifts and for all of our conversation and for your tolerance early on when I was having trouble with the video stream, which was a little nutsy this morning, but that happens. So let's take a moment here, just a moment, and I'm going to tune up the stream. Let's spend a moment together listening inside ourselves. You are the living water. You water my soul. You make me springtime. You intoxicate me. Intoxicate us. Shift our perspectives. Make us transform. Bubble inside us every day. Give us the tastes we need to want more, to thirst for you. Thank you. All right, my friends. Thanks for coming. Peace be with you. I'll see you next Sunday. We're off to to Mystic Tea Salon. I was so out with his, I'm blissed out. But I was for a moment there. Mystic Tea Salon. You can find the link at peterpanagore.love. Thanks for your blessings. Thanks for your gifts. Peace be with you. See you soon. Namaste, everybody. And thanks for your gifts.